Greetings, everyone. Have you ever read a book that you thought was fantastic right up until the very end? And then you're left thinking, who the heck wrote this part? Nothing worse than a good book with a terrible ending. And yet, so many times I'm reminded of that book when I watch some dog owners train their dogs to perform stay or place. They start off so strong. Super chapter on distance. How far can I go away from my dog that my dog will remain where I left him? Then they followed up with an even better chapter called duration. How long can my dog possibly keep doing that behavior on this brain? And then they embark upon a very difficult chapter called distractions. In other words, under what conditions will my dog continue to perform the place or stay? And many times, that's when the book falls apart and the ending is terrible. So to avoid that, I recommend start with the ending, make sure that that's solid, baby, and then work your way backwards to the beginning. And what is the ending? That's the release. That's how you successfully get out of the behavior. You're released from stay or place. Because if that is solid, then trust me, all those other chapters called distance, duration, and distraction will all build themselves. Now, when I work on a release, I take advantage of nature. You've heard me say that many times in my videos. I use what's called a complex signal. So what are complex signals to animals? Well, it comes in one of two forms. Either a variety of signals, individual signals, all meaning one thing, or it's a signal that stands out from the norm. So a case in point of multi-layered signals meaning one thing, that would be a dog standing taut, hackles up, staring at you and growling. Many individual signals meaning one thing, stay away from me or back off. And then an example of a single signal that stands out from the norm would be like a poisonous frog in the dark green Amazon jungle. A poisonous frog has many colors, and those colors stand out. Here's the neat thing about a complex signal, regardless of which form it comes in. It serves to animals as a warning. That's why birds won't look at that brightly colored frog and say, easy pickings. Instead, they go, oh, if that thing stands out like that, there must be something wrong with it. So by using a complex signal, you create a communication form with your dog that stands out from the person coming in your door, from the squirrel running by back here behind us, from a jogger running right past you while your dog's in the stay. And the list goes on and on. You create a communication that becomes the precedence. This is what the dog is looking for because that signal stands out from everything else. And that's why if you use a complex signal to release your dog, I promise you, you will have a wonderful stay and a wonderful place. Okay, so what does it look like in dog training? Well, it comes with three parts. First of all, there's an individual signal called return to your dog. Then it's followed up with another individual signal called take control of your dog or touch your dog. And then the third individual signal is a command like free is what I use. So here's what it looks like. Let me return back over here to Captain. Come on, cattle dog. He's been here for a while. All right, I'm going to put a leash on him. Okay, so he's in his stay. He's got a leash on now. I'm going to return to him. So that is step one. Do me a favor, keep this as an individual signal. Give it about a second before you do the second signal. Now I take control. So if your dog's wearing a leash, give me some tension on that leash. Feel like you're taking control. If it doesn't have on a leash, grab the collar. If it doesn't have a collar, just simply push your hand against the top of the dog's head or neck. And then after a second, give the command, free. And your dog can now come out of the stay position or the place and hop off the cot or the mat. So let me demonstrate this again. Let's go, cattle dog. Come on around here, everybody. Stay. Okay, so when I'm training, I'm writing the end of the book. So when I get that stay, I don't go more than about 4 to 5 feet away. And I don't keep the dog there or make the dog stay at that spot or at that distance for more than about 30 seconds to a minute. So now I return to the dog, take up slack on the leash, give me a little tension on it, and give the command, free, and release the dog from the position. Now, if the dog doesn't have on a leash or a collar, all you need to do is this. Come on, cow dog. Climb back up there for me, buddy. Okay, so you've done your stay, you walked away, worked a little bit on distance, a little bit on duration, nothing heavy distraction-wise. Return back to your dog, hold the position, touch the dog, and then say free. And if you go about that pace like I'm doing, about 1 second to 2 seconds in between each signal, you will create a very solid stay or a very solid place. Now let me kind of wrap this video up with showing you why we do this, why it makes the behavior so rock solid. Cattle dog, over here, buddy. Hop up there. There we go. Stay. So now I've got my dog in a stay. It's got that very clear standout signal to get off. So when that signal becomes a little muddled or just becomes separated, in other words, into only individual signals by themselves, the dog won't break the stay or place. So case in point, I have Captain and Stay now. You come to my house and you say, man, Bryan, I love that sofa. How much did you pay for that? And I say, I got it for free. And notice the dog doesn't leave the stay or place. You may also come into my home and say, wow, look at your dog over there. Can I go pet him? And I say, sure. So now it looks like someone came up to me. So like signal number 1, return to the dog. It looks like someone is taking control of me. Certainly feels like it. But then notice they walk away and they don't say free. So again, the dog doesn't break the behavior. It takes all 3 signals to get the dog out of the stay or place. Here we go again, last time. Return to my dog. Give my dog a good touch here, take control. Free! And off the dog goes. Guys, if you follow a complex signal, you write that book from the end forward, you make that release solid, then trust me, distance, duration, and distractions, they will all write themselves. It's like you hired a ghostwriter. I've been doing this for years. This will work for you too. Keep it complex when it comes to releasing your dog. Write the end of the book and work your way back to the front of the book, and you'll have the same success that I have.